Hi, Abz. How are you?
Hi, yeah, not too bad. How's yourself?
I'm fine. I'm fine.
Good.
So we wanted to take this opportunity today as the International Women's Day to keep on trying to talk about the members, the female members of the African Caribbean Society of Scotland Board. So we are now here with Abs, and I'm going to ask you just some questions to get to know you better.
Mhm.
So first of all, how just tell us something about yourself, what you do, and how you get to know Cynthia, the chair of ACSS, and um, how your two journey intersect.
Okay, so Abz Mills. I'm a tattoo artist working in Scotland in Fife, in a place called Spaghetti Tattoos in Kirkcaldy, where I live. I've been tattooing for this year will be 10 years since I started tattooing. I've been an artist all my life, as long as I can remember. It helps me understand the world and interpret it through my eyes. I think it's important for all artists to do that if they can, in any way creatively. It's bringing something to say. So last year during the first lockdown, like the COVID-19 epidemic, I was moved by the violence and the murders of police brutality in the States, specifically, obviously, George Floyd got a lot of press over here because it was such an outrage, and it was one of the very few black male killings by police that was actually recorded and videoed, and that's one of the reasons why it got so much traction over here. So it kind of inspiration kind of like boiled up inside me. Not that I thought I could do anything about it, because as a black or brown person, we've grown up in a society that's racism is just everywhere, and it gets to a point where we're not just being silenced, but it's just brushed off as, oh, it's not our problem, you deal with it. Or managers or members of school places, that they don't know how to deal with it because they're not trained in how to deal with race issues. So a lot of that had been buried beneath me. So I started picking up my iPad again to do some digital drawings, and I did a series, at least one a day, of just representation, just like a black character. I love drawing characters and people and just making up these people out of my mind. I always have. And I hadn't picked up anything creative for a good few months, because once we stopped working, I was like, well, what's the point? Like, there's no purpose of mine. I'm not able to create for people, because I love my job. I love being able to design for specific clients, because it's a personal story for them. So it's great that I get to help them do that. So I was able to have that time to think, and what wanted to come out of me creatively was pain, because it had been repressed for so long. The racism and the pain that only really black and brown and foreign people feel in a predominantly white society. So I just started coming out with all this. I was posting it on social media, on my Instagram, and it was found by someone who knew someone who was putting together the Black Lives Matter mural trail, specifically for Scottish artists, like in solidarity with the movement in the States. And I didn't think it would get seen anyway, because my stuff barely gets seen on Instagram, apart from my clients that already follow me. But so that was good. I got in touch with the organizer of the mural trail. Her name is Wezzy. She's on Instagram as well. And all the artists collectively that worked on the individual mural projects that are all across Scotland, from Edinburgh to Glasgow, Dundee. So she contacted me, we corresponded, and eventually we were able to put up a piece in Edinburgh, right on the Usher Hall. It was huge. So when that happened, when the unveiling happened, it was like a week or so before we got the date for going back to work. So it worked out like perfect time, and I was able to use that time, that last burst of inspiration before going back to work. And it got quite a lot of recognition, quite a lot of traction. And on that day that it was unveiled was when I met Cynthia, because in Edinburgh, she must have known, where the different unveilings were going to be, because she seems to have a lot of contacts and she's in the know with a lot of stuff. So she was there, and she did a little small video of me. It was the first interview that I'd done, really, like in person, about my work. So yeah, it just all started to come to me. Like, it was an opportunity to actually talk about the work that I'd created for a purpose. It was actually a tribute to Sheku Bayu, who was killed by police in Kirkcaldy in 2015. So I had to say something about it. It was like a mesh of both, the solidarity. It wasn't just like, oh, we know how you feel. It's like, we know how you feel by, so, and yeah, the members of the family were there as well. So it was good to kind of see that he wasn't forgotten, and that people still cared, because a lot of the time when you're fighting for justice, it's fallen on deaf ears. So I wanted to at least show that in my way. And I think, yeah, like I said, art is really important. When you've got something to say and you don't know how to word it, like, I struggle with my words sometimes. So I think art just helps me do that. So yeah, if I can do that, and that's fulfilling my purpose in some kind of way, and it helps me, it leads me into opportunities like becoming a board member of something like this that could really make waves. Stuff like that doesn't really happen by accident. So I've taken the opportunity as it comes.
Yeah, and really everything happens for a reason. So when one of the first things we talk to each other, and we have something in common. We're both part of the queer community, and I think it's really important to have taken this into consideration in the work we are doing, and especially trying to create a space for the Black LGBTQ+ community. And that's also one of the aim we have at ACSS. So linking to this, what was the biggest challenge, or challenges, I guess, you had to face as a Black queer growing up in the UK?
I think
also here, also now, the challenges that you still have to face in your daily life.
I think growing up in a predominantly like straight and white community, there's nothing wrong with that, but you can't help but feel like a minority when you are just starting to feel like you're fitting in. Like, you'll have a group of friends and you will always be the odd one out, whether it be because you're queer, whether that be a lesbian or gay or bisexual or transgender or queer or asexual or intersex. Like, there's so many labels that people have chosen to put on people because they're not the norm. And it's the same with being Black or brown. Like, if you stand out in any way, like, you're going to get tagged as somebody that's different. So in the back of your mind, it's always there whenever you go for like a job interview or to a party where you're meeting new people or anything. It's always in the back of your mind. So I think that is kind of the challenge, even though it's not necessarily always from other people. It's like a constant in the back of your mind, like, what are people going to think of me before I've even opened my mouth? I think that's why I think, to start with, enjoyed when I got into tattooing, because you're suddenly interested, and it's not being a lesbian or for being like mixed race. It's not about the outward, it's about what you can do, and I guess what you can give to people. So I think that's maybe why I've always liked art, is because it's impressive and it's something that comes from my mind. It's not something that's, on the surface, really. But the challenges, I think I would say, wanting to fit in, but knowing that I never will. But I think as an adult now, I realise it's not so much of a hindrance as it is kind of a superpower. it's something that makes us different, and we can see the world differently, and educate others really as well, through the queer eyes or through the black eyes.
Yeah.
Helping people see, like, with yourself and your group becoming an ally or become an ally. I think that's a brilliant thing as well, because you can still be part of the movement without feeling like, oh, it's not really my place to do so, because it's everybody's place. It's a human rights issue with the people that are getting killed all over the world for being part of the rainbow family, or for, you know, like, it wasn't even that long ago where me even existing, having a black father and a white mother would have been, you know, they could have been highly like prosecuted for some places, because it would be a mixing of cultures, you know, like. So whenever I see documentaries or movies, just even saying this was just not on, having two people from different races to come together, it was so frowned upon, sometimes more so than what people did in the shadows or behind closed doors. It's just, it boggles my mind sometimes when you think about how people used to think, and that people still do think that way. But it's not over. You'd like to think the majority of people were progressive enough, but I think progress will speed up when other people start to jump on and start doing something about it, rather than being like, oh, my grandma's just racist, or my grandpa's homophobic. Like, you know, bring them along with us, because that's what progress is all about. You know?
Yeah, and linking to what you were saying, what would you like, if it was possible to go back in time and tell something to a younger Abz? What would you like her to know?
I would definitely be like, don't be afraid of your own voice. Like, speak up for what you believe in and what you feel is right. Don't be afraid to be your complete authentic self. Don't feel like you have to hide who you truly are. Be weird, be colorful, be crazy, be moody, like, be gloomy and moody, because some of the best artists, like, they do feel pain. You have to have pain in order to put that onto paper and make $1 million. Or, you know, like, yeah, just don't hide yourself, because you're not hiding from anybody else. You're only hiding from yourself. That's the thing, because everybody sees you and they love you more than you think they do.
Yeah.
So love yourself and don't hide yourself. That's what I would say to my kid self.
That's brilliant. Yeah, probably we have to kind of print it out and put it in front of the mirror.
Yeah, I need to say that to myself now.
Yeah.
Be yourself and stop hiding. Get out there and do something.
Yeah, I feel you 100%. And last question, and then I'll leave you time if you want to add anything else. So I really have a huge trust and huge, I kind of really have faith in the younger generations. I mean, I don't think that's my probably biggest hope, you know, the kids. I've seen how they, you know, also seen the environmental strikes, you know, Friday strikes for environment, and the you know, the possibility to teach them since a very young age what racism is, what transphobia, what, you know, teach them and raise them in a way that in the future they can actively and without even knowing, you know, probably change the course of actions. But if you would like to say something to the teenagers, you know, teenagers and younger generation, what would you like to tell them? What would you like to ask them, or advices you would like to give them?
I would literally, now I don't have kids, but my partner does. So I guess I'll soon be a stepmom, really. So, but especially after watching things online and seeing how kids are, I would take your screen time and half it, because we had so much less screen time. I'm not saying that our generation is any better than before or after us, but you will get more done in the real world if you half your screen time. It's not good for your mind. It's not good for your eyes. And it's not good for your mental health. So with the dopamine and the serotonin and all that stuff from like a like and a share and, oh, I made this stranger on the other side of the world laugh, that's not real. I think to do action, you need to contribute to the here and the now, like locally. It's all very well making somebody laugh on the other side of the planet, but think about what you can do in your local community, whether it be getting involved in politics, not the boring stuff, but like stuff that really makes a difference to your environment. To stop, you know, like our town centre, like half the shops are closed. So that's like all the businesses, I don't mean just because of the pandemic, but businesses are going out of business because everybody's buying online, and like people that actually do want to make a living that isn't just on screens and buying and selling and things, that's all disappearing because the world's changing. So I think taking something from the older generation would be like the hard graft and things that actually make a substantial difference would be my advice to younger kids, because I think they're doing great with the whole acceptance, like, and I think that they've got that sorted. They know that there's not just one gender or two genders. They know that racism isn't on. I don't know that many younger kids now. I mean, I don't know that many younger kids, but serious change, I think, is going on, whether it be from media representation or just general acceptance, and knowing that the older generation that are a little bit racist or a little bit like stuck in their ways, that's, you know, that things are moving forward in that aspect. The only thing that's kind of getting held back is, I think, some of the progress, because it's just screens. They need to talk to each other, and they need to play with each other, and they need to create, and that would be that's what I'm thinking. But that's just one
That's
girl's
definitely
opinion.
something we can work on with ACSS. We can really create some sort of opportunity to you know, community, and hopefully being a you know, point of contact for the LGBT plus community, the Black community, the young kids. I think, yeah, there is something as adults that we can hopefully do to sort of make that process easier, probably.
Yeah, that would be good. I think it's just little things that we can tweak to make a better world, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, anything else you would like to add or to say to anyone who's watching us and listening to us?
Yes, I've recently been kind of not in the same aspect as ACSS, but been working with Pink Saltire, who are LGBTQ plus group based in Fife, and they should be having a hub opening in Kirkcaldy, which is great. So I'd love to get the ACSS and Pink Saltire together. But in the meantime, we're setting up like kind of like online Zoom art therapy classes where it will be hosted by me, and I'll be going through like techniques, but it's more a space to calm the mind and create something. It is for queer folks, but I'm pretty sure like if you want to come along or do something different or even give us feedback, people will be welcome to come along. So I'll chat with you all more about that once it comes along. But it will be in the next
probably the link in the comments here.
Yeah, we will.
So everyone can check that out. Cool. So I think that's all for now, and thank you for your time, and hope you all enjoyed meeting Abz and me and myself. Have a lovely day, and happy International Women's Day to everyone.